The air was thick. You know, that mix of whiskey and neon lights you only get at a major arena show. And at the center of it all, Tyler Hubbard and Brian Kelley. Florida-Georgia Line. They weren't just a duo. They were, a full-blown cultural phenomenon. They basically invented bro country.
Oh, absolutely. Critics might have rolled their eyes, but fans devoured it. And we're not just talking about a few hits. They completely rewrote the record books. Their song Cruise, for example, wasn't just platinum. It was the RIAA's very first digital diamond certification for a country track.
The first ever. Just thinking about that. This wasn't just Nashville's success. This was a global brand.
A huge brand. And they built this whole empire around it.
16 #1 singles, millions of albums sold, and then all the side ventures. Tree Vibe Music Publishing, Round Here Records.
Old Camp Whiskey, the FGL House Bar. They were a machine, just seemingly too big to ever fail.
And then, just like that, the cameras flashed, the music faded, and the entire industry was left asking one single burning question: what really broke up Florida-Georgia Line? Welcome to the Deep Dive, the StarScope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals, diving deep into the stories behind the fame.
So today, our mission is to unpack this whole professional dissolution. We're going to get into their very conflicting stories, the catalyst that really sealed the deal, and this really unexpected path from a pretty brutal professional divorce back toward, well, friendship.
Okay, so let's dive in. The first thing that really grabbed the headlines, the moment everyone thought was the real problem.
The social media spat.
Social media spat. It's 2020, the pandemic has shut everything down, and the first public sign of trouble just explodes online.
And it's important to remember the pandemic forced them out of that road bubble. Suddenly, they're not in a tour bus together. They're in their own homes, on their own phones, right in the middle of a very polarized election season. And their political differences, which were probably manageable before, just became very public very fast.
The big moment was Tyler Hubbard unfollowing Brian Kelley on Instagram.
Which in today's world is like slamming a door on a national stage. Millions of people are watching that one click.
And Hubbard was actually pretty open about why he did it. He told Kelley directly, and this is a key quote, "I love you a lot more in real life than on your stories right now."
Wow. So it was like, I'm just removing a source of friction.
Exactly. He said, nothing personal. I still love you. You're still my brother. Just a digital boundary.
But that's where the problem started, right?
Yeah.
Because both of them have said since then that the politics wasn't the real reason for the split.
Not at all. It was a symptom, a very loud, very public symptom that, let the internet create this much bigger, much darker story.
So the political noise just distracted everyone from the real business issue.
Precisely. It compounded all this quiet professional stress that was already building. Hubbard said it himself, when it blows up publicly like that, it just gets people further in their corners.
It framed the whole breakup incorrectly from the very beginning. Everyone wanted this big ideological fight.
When the real issue was much more about, logistics and business boundaries. It was about the future of the FGL brand, not who they voted for.
So if politics didn't cause the breakup, what was the moment that actually sealed the deal? The truth involves a text message, a rejected song, and a country music legend who had no idea he was playing a role. We'll get into that specific moment right after this.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So before the break, we kind of dismissed the whole public narrative about politics. Now let's get to the real story, the breakup hinge.
Right. So the true catalyst, at least according to Tyler Hubbard, happened during the pandemic. Brian Kelley texts him a new song.
Okay.
And Hubbard, thinking like a partner, immediately says it would be a perfect Chesney pitch, as in a song for Kenny Chesney. He suggests they send it to him right away. A simple, strategic move. Makes total sense. So what happened?
Well, this is the moment everything changed. Kelley texts back that Chesney had already heard the song and passed on it.
Awkward.
And then Kelley drops the bomb. He says Chesney's rejection was a sign.
A sign? A sign to do what?
A sign that he should be the one to record it, as a solo artist.
Wait. So a failed song pitch became the green light to launch a competing career.
That was the inflection point. It turned Kelley's solo dream from, a maybe someday, into an active, immediate career change.
But Hubbard was completely blindsided.
Totally. He said it was really unexpected. FGL was in a sweet spot in their career, a place they'd worked a decade to get to.
His thinking was, let's keep this going.
Yeah, he was like, why don't we ride this thing out for like 5 more years, 10 more years, and then we can do the solo thing.
But Kelley had a different vision. He saw them doing both.
Right.
Like a 3-hour show with FGL songs and solo stuff mixed in.
He did. But that's where Hubbard drew a very hard line, a definitive professional boundary.
And his analogy for it was pretty intense.
It was. He compared it to a spouse wanting to, and I'm quoting here, sleep with the neighbors and come home at night. For him, it was a complete breach of focus and trust.
That's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
It tells you everything about how he saw the partnership. It was all or nothing.
And it really seems to have been about the business. I mean, think about it. They co-owned everything. Tree Viba's music, Round Here Records, those were built to feed the FGL machine.
The second Kelley goes solo, any new songs he writes, any energy he has, it's not going into their shared businesses. It's going to his own brand.
Exactly. Hubbard saw it as creating a direct competitor in the exact same market. It starves the FGL ecosystem. Who gets the best songs? Who gets the big tour? It creates a conflict of interest at every single level.
It becomes a zero-sum game. You can't be 100% committed to a partnership if you're also building a rival company. It had to be a professional divorce.
The logistics just became impossible. The moment Kelley found his own path, the business model for the duo was, well, basically obsolete.
If this deep dive is hitting all the right notes for you, make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up with all the stories shaping pop culture. Because what comes next is an actual musical declaration of war. Okay, so the split was a professional divorce. But then things got personal. Really personal and really public. Let's talk about the diss track.
Yeah, this is where the bitterness really comes out. In March of 2024, Brian Kelley drops a single called Kiss My Boots.
And the entire industry immediately heard it for what it was.
Oh, absolutely. It was an overt diss track aimed squarely at Tyler Hubbard.
And he was not subtle. The lyrics were incredibly pointed. I mean, want the world to know that you did me wrong. Here's a middle finger to you through a song.
You can't get much clearer than that. Another line talks about someone throwing dirt on my name around this town, which really suggests some behind-the-scenes bad blood after the split.
And the music video just hammered it home. It was like a masterclass in visual symbolism.
It really was. You have Kelley hunting a snake, which is, the universal symbol for betrayal.
But the final shot, that's the one that left no doubt.
None at all. Kelley's wearing a Flora belt buckle, and he just dramatically slices up a Georgia pooch.
And Hubbard is the Georgia boy from the duo.
It's about as direct a takedown as you can get without actually saying his name.
So how does this even happen? I mean, what's Kelley's explanation for putting this out?
This is maybe the most fascinating part. He said the song came out of advice from a mental health coach.
Wait, his therapist told him to write a diss track.
Well, not exactly. He said he was going through this extremely difficult, hurtful, and confusing time, and his coach told him to take the high road and eat my popcorn.
And he processed that advice by slicing a peach in a music video.
Apparently, he said the hurt came out in a song. So he took this advice to disengage and channeled it directly into a highly pointed musical attack.
So while this is happening, what is Hubbard doing? How does he respond?
He takes the complete opposite approach, very measured. He basically refused to engage. Publicly, he just kept saying he wished Kelley the best and wanted only good things for him.
He just focused on his own path.
A very, very successful path. We have to talk about the divergence in their solo careers. Hubbard has been on an absolute tear.
A historic run, really.
Staggering. He had 4 consecutive #1 hits on country radio across his first 2 solo albums. To have that level of success in 2 separate careers, it's almost unheard of.
So he was winning the business battle, which probably made it easier to take the high road on the personal stuff. But now, it seems like the human story is shifting again.
It is. In late 2025, we started hearing a different tone. Hubbard actually said he wanted to get my friend back. He felt like enough time had passed for things to cool down.
So they're trying to find their way back to the friendship that started it all.
Exactly. He said he missed his old roommate and his best man. And then we saw the proof. At the CMA Awards in November, they were spotted together, laughing.
And Hubbard even said they're planning hiking and fishing trips. Just to reconnect as guys, not as business partners.
It's a huge pivot. They're trying to rebuild that human bond that existed long before the billion-dollar machine was ever built.
So to recap this whole thing for you, the FGL break, It wasn't the political drama everyone thought it was. It was really a conflict over business boundaries and creative timing.
And it was all accidentally kicked off by a Kenny Chesney song rejection. The whole thing was a professional, strategic split. It was Hubbard refusing to keep the FGL brand going while his partner was building a competing one.
And you have to remember why they started FGL in the first place. Hubbard said they were dead broke and desperate for a career. That hunger is what fueled their success.
But that hunger is gone now. They're both successful solo artists. So the goal has completely changed. It's not about rebuilding the business anymore. It's about rebuilding the friendship.
It's about finding a way to be friends again, without the pressure of being partners. A pretty amazing turn from a very public, very bitter split. Which leaves us with one final provocative thought for you to think about.
Given that the driving force behind Florida-Georgia Line was that raw desperation for a career, now that both of them are successful on their own, can they ever find that shared hunger again to bring the billion-dollar duo back? Or is just getting their friendship back the real quiet victory here?
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.